keeping it real and keeping it fair. Everybody has to respect everyone. And I think that communication is balance, and everyone would get a talk.
Hello, and I'd like to thank Mr. Marlon Green Leadership and Development Show for bringing us from All Deserved Care. Yes, again, like he mentioned, we want to keep it real, keep the facts, whether eyewitnesses or personal experiences through these programs. Hopefully, our experience can help you with your experience with some of these programs that you're applying for. Now, today's topic, what we're going to talk about is disability. First, we're going to discuss VA disability. We're going to discuss Social Security disability, and we're going to discuss some of the books, references, and some of the materials that will help you in applying for some of these benefits. We'll also discuss the appeal process and what you will need to know to arm yourself with the ability to have a successful claim. Now, again, like I mentioned, I'm a veteran, and I'm a disabled veteran, and I'm also on Social Security. Now, at first glance and first look, you would never know that I am on disability, and that's some of the problems and some of the entails that some of the veterans have. By first look and first glance, the doctors are ruling out all problems with them, whether it be physical or mental. Some issues that individuals have you can't see. Let me give you an example, whether it be PTSD, whether it be bipolar, whether it be sarcoidosis, whether it be sleep apnea, whether it be fibromyalgia. Many diseases and diagnoses, especially in the VA realm, are still being diagnosed to this day. So a lot of diseases happen from time in service, whether it be the place where you're at. For example, some of our Vietnam veterans, for example, some of our Korean War era veterans, hopefully still alive, some of our World War II and some of our World War I veterans. Now, we know for sure what's happened to our Iraqi and Persian Gulf War veterans. But there's also a gap of veterans within Persian Gulf. A lot of information is being ruled out. We have veterans that have undiagnosed Gulf War illnesses. So that being said, there's a lot of issues that arise when someone becomes actually a veteran. It may start from your entry exam, whether you may have a hearing problem, whether you may be a little bit overweight, whether you may have high blood pressure. Your entry exams and your exit exams are very critical to your claim when applying with VA when you later get out the military. That being said, do not be afraid to go to sick call if you were injured, if you had a legit problem or anything that you knew of would happen either while you're in or while you're out. If you went to sick call, make sure you kept those notes. Make sure you get all your medical documentation. If you have problems with some of the officers, whether it be sergeants, our female soldiers, if you have problems with some of the soldiers harassing you, make sure you write that down in a journal. Make sure you let someone know, so that way when you get out the military and you're ready to do your exit exam, you have enough information and you're well equipped to say, hey, I had the issues while I was in the military, and now I have the issues while I'm out of the military, and now I'm filing for my claim. Now, what I've learned as an advocate is that there's a couple books that I think that should be presented to every veteran once they get out the military. One is called they're both called the Veteran Survival Guide, How to File and Collect on VA Claims, first and second edition by the author John D. Roach. These books here are very credible and intelligent information on how the VA process works from the ins and outs, whether when you first have your, what they call a CNP, compensation and pension exam, to when you actually get denied. All within that book and within some of the books you have a lot of the veterans, when they first got the military, they're structured off to go to what we call service organizations. Some are named American Legion, AMVETS, DAV, a lot of familiar names you may have heard of before. When we go to these organizations, we're expecting that service officer or national service officer to explain our service-connected condition within VA law. Now, through experience, myself, what I found out is that sometimes the service officer and the national service officer is not as credible as yourself. Trust yourself. Trust your ability to present the information. Now, again, what you have to have in place though to present the information is you have to have the actual book. What we have is what we call the 38 CFR, Title 38 Code of Federal Regulations, 0 to 17. Within this book, what your service officer or your national service officer explains is Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. Chapter 3 being adjudication law, Chapter 4 being the actual disability that you actually have the problem with, or that is actual service connected. So what happens within the VA structure is that a lot of information is within this book here. This is our start with this book here. Now, what we also found through experience is that if your advocate or your service officer is not as knowledgeable within this book, then they don't know how to respond back to the VA properly, in a timely and fashionable manner. So what you have to do, don't be afraid to ask that service officer, hey, can you explain some of these chapters in this book? Can you explain to me how are we gonna go about my claim? Because keep in mind, it's your claim. The service officer has a name with the organization, you have a claim for your service and your family. So by that being said, never be afraid to question anyone about your claim. Make sure you understand what's going on within your claim. Make sure you understand if you got denied, why you got denied, what information was denied, and make sure if the Department of Veteran Affairs is stating that they researched your whole complete C-file and we've seen everything, and then maybe your advocate or service officer finds it later, that's neglect. That means that they haven't found it. That means that all relevant facts were not being reviewed. And unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes. Now, we don't want to be on the leadership development show and place a lot of blame on the VA or the Social Security or any other sources of help that will help you within your disability. But what we like to do is keep them aware that we, the small members in the community, are also paying attention. We are also making sure things are being followed in a timely and in a proper fashion. And that's what we do with All Deserved Care. We make sure that you